Yeah, I mean they're a good team, and since I last played them, their defense has changed. They've kind of switched their scheme a couple of times since then, and I think whatever we're just going to do everything we can to study the film that we have over the course of the last couple of years to put ourselves in the best position.
The secondary, they've got some critical guys getting what tendencies jump out on the film for them as the coverages and how they can defend.
Yeah, I mean we're well aware that they have talented guys, and I mean just like kind of every team in the NFL. I mean every team in the Big Ten, there's going to be NFL players on the field. It just kind of depends on where they're at. So for this week they have a lot of talent. Kind of everywhere, especially up front they have two solid. They have a solid front. Excuse me, and I mean as you mentioned, they have some good guys in the secondary. So we're just doing everything we can to understand their tendencies and understand where the holes are in the defense, and we're just going to try and take advantage of those.
Okay, this team hasn't put 4 quarters of football together yet. How important is it that, I mean, this is probably a good week to do it against a team like Ohio State. You need to complete effort all 4 quarters this week?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, whenever you're playing good teams, you got to play 4 quarters. And for us, there's always going to be ups and downs in games. There's going to be, it's other than basically Jared Goff yesterday, you can't play a perfect game. So, but I mean, there's going to be ups and downs, and especially when you're playing good teams, they're going to answer, we're going to answer. That's just the ebb and flow of the game. And I think, for us to, as long as the ups and downs are more consistent, as long as it's not massive, ups and downs, I think, that's what gives us the best chance to win.
Cade, Luke mentioned time of possession being really important against Ohio State. They're pretty explosive offense. Has that been an emphasis with you and Coach Lester this week, or throughout?
I mean, I think that's kind of just like an obvious thing that when they have a good offense, that you want to keep those guys off the field. But I think the biggest part of it's not as much keeping them off the field. It's about us just playing efficient on offense, and I think that's just like a big focus for us. Is that how can we stack drives, and how can we just stay ahead of the chains, and how can we keep drives alive? I think that's what it comes down to. And if we do that, then we'll have good time of possession. But I mean, we're not trying to sit on the ball or do anything as far as play back. We got to take shots. We got to do what we can to win this game. And I think at the end of the day, it's just going to come down to us playing efficient.
How do you play efficient against a team that's as talented as Ohio State?
Yeah, I mean, you got to be able to, for us, however, you're not going to be able to, I mean, we might, unless, you got to be able to just run the ball really well. But I think also it comes down to third down conversions, because that's what, keeps drives alive. And, if we can get third and manageable, then that's good. And it makes it, we have a higher chance. But I think overall, just staying ahead of the chains, having good success on first and second down, and for us to be able to just really convert on third down. I mean, that's how you keep drives alive. And when we get in the red zone, we gotta walk away with points.
Lester, we talked to Lester last week. He said it's a really huge week for our offense. So what did you guys accomplish last week, and did you make some steps?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought we got a lot better last week. I think we had we had some specific emphasis and some stuff that we really wanted to work on. And I think for us to, whether it's, we didn't work a ton against, in competitive situations as far as going against the defense. I think, Friday, we kind of picked the steam back up, and we were able to, put ourselves in some, 2-minute and do all some really good scrimmaging. But I think overall last week was huge for us to just continue to grow as a unit, whether that's in a run game or passing game, and for us to really, we had a lot of individual time too. So I think for us to, when you're not really focusing on an opponent as much at the beginning of the week, you're really able to take the time to, correct what you're doing on the field. And I think, that was good for us. And I definitely do think we got better last week.
And he said publicly, you thought that was maybe your best game, even though the stats weren't off the charts or anything like that. So did that make you feel pretty good as far as the progression you're making as a quarterback?
Yeah, I mean that's just all I'm trying to do, is just continue to get better and better every single week. And if I appreciate him saying that, but I mean, I even watching the tape, there's still some things that that I want to clean up and that I want to continue to get better at. And just the more that, not just me, but the entire team, that if we just keep looking at every single week with an honest eye, and that if we just continue to get better and better, I think we'll see some success.
Cade, some of these guys have embrace the underdog role. Some of them don't even look at the fact that they're 20-some point underdogs. So how do you look at it, and is that a motivating factor, an opportunity to maybe prove some naysayers wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I think just kind of every game you have the opportunity to prove someone wrong, and I think, for us it's just about us playing to the best of our ability on Saturday, and I think we'll be fine if we do that. But we got to play our best, and we got to expect their best, and whether we're the underdogs or whether we're favored, I mean, it kind of doesn't matter because we're going on the road in a Big Ten game, and no matter who you're playing, you're the underdog if you're playing on the road for the most part. So, I mean, I'm excited for this week, and I know the rest of the guys will be pretty excited as well.
What you do in the bye week?
I just kind of was able to relax. I'm not within driving distance, of home, so I was able to just I went and watched a high school football game, and then I was able to just kind of relax and just really recover.
How did you spend Saturday? Did you watch football?
Yeah, I mean, I was just kind of relaxed. I hung out with some friends, and then I mean, kind of the same thing. I was able. I'm sure my dog was pretty happy that I was home for more than like 5 hours.
Which high school game?
I went to the Solon game. I have a few friends and a few I have a few friends who, some coach there. I mean, Coach he coaches there, and then also Aaron Campman. But also, there's a lot of nice people in that community that that I've grown friends with.
Coach Lester mentioned timing being something that was really important and maybe why some of those incompletions happened against Minnesota. Do you feel like there was progression made at least in that specific area over the bye week too?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that go into timing, whether it's, the depths, my location, my timing, the speed of my drop. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that go into timing on routes. And I think, especially since we're able to, spend a lot of time with routes on air and stuff, we're just continuing to develop that. And I think, we took some steps, and now it's just about translating into a game situation.
Is that just like a chemistry and reps kind of thing? Or I guess, how do you build that?
Yeah, I mean, it's constant repetition, and then I think it's also takes an understanding of what I'm looking at, and then also what the receivers are looking at, and it's kind of that relationship of us understanding what the defense has given us on how we can still play on time based on the factors that the defense has given us.
Given that you've beaten Ohio State, do guys look to you for advice? Do you try to help them understand it can be done? I mean, what's kind of your message to the team as somebody who's actually accomplished something that's more difficult?
Yeah, I mean, my kind of how I approach this week is kind of like just like really every week is from a personal standpoint, and is I have to do my best for me to play my best. I have to do everything I can to put the team in the best position to win, and I have to do the best I can as a leader to help get myself and get the guys to that point. And I think whether we're playing Ohio State or anyone, those are three things that I have to accomplish going into every single week, and whatever that looks like, depending on the opponent, depending on the mood, depending on really all kinds of different factors, will determine how I approach those three different factors. But this week, at the end of the day, it takes what it takes. So me and the rest of the guys, we're looking forward to a pretty opportunity.
What's it like to beat Ohio State? There's not a lot of quarterbacks that can say they've done it, and especially when you're at the University of Michigan, that's one of the ultimate goals.
Yeah, I mean, when you're playing at Michigan, that's a big goal. But I think, that was at this point that I've missed 2 seasons since then, and I'm doing everything I can to really just play my best football too. So I think a victory on Saturday would be awesome, and I think just the more that we can just continue to play our best and just keep getting better as the year goes on, that's huge for us.
Okay, Tim Lester said that he was really impressed with your footwork against Michigan, and he had you at 11 for 13, I think. He said it was one of your best games.
Against Minnesota?
Yeah, Minnesota, I'm sorry, not Michigan. What does a Sunday look like after a game when Tim's talking to you about your performance? What does that look like for a quarterback?
I mean, we kind of go through a series of, whether it's a team meeting or a unit meeting, but I think, once we're able to get into the quarterback-specific meetings, and we just watch every single play and really just measure, whether it's there's all kinds of different factors that go into grading out a game and measuring how I played, whether it's my footwork, whether it's my decision-making, my timing, my accuracy, all kinds of different things. And the fact that Coach Lester was a quarterback too, it really helps us have really good conversations as to him relating to what I'm seeing and what's going out there on the field. So I mean, on Sunday we're just doing everything we can to just learn from what just happened, see where we can improve, and then try and apply it to the next week.
Thank you.
Two more. Thank you.
Kind of an off the wall question here.